be here. So happy belated Earth Day.
Yes.
I don't know if you celebrated Earth Day. I was invited to an Earth Day party where I live. I live on Long Island. Anybody here been to Long Island? Okay, well, if you've been there, you know it's kind of like one big parking lot, really. We don't drive, we just kind of inch along because there's so much traffic, you know. Anyway, this party was on the beach, and so all the SUVs could like park right down by the water. That's, you know, there are more SUVs on Long Island than any other suburban area of its size. Which is not because we do so much off-road driving, like you guys do up here. And I have a theory about why that is. I mean, it's just my theory, but you know, I think that because on Long Island we spend a lot of time in our cars, a lot of time driving, and we're very identified with our vehicles, you know, as a consequence. And also we're living this kind of tame, domesticated existence in the suburbs, you know, pretty much. So. But if you drive something called an expedition, it feels like maybe you're on one, you know? Or I'm an explorer, I'm a pathfinder, I'm a navigator on my way through the McDonald's drive-thru. And I didn't know this woman that well that invited me to the Earth Day party, but I thought she said birthday. I didn't know her that well, but I thought, you know, free cake. And there wasn't any cake at all. There was this like organic, everything healthy, you know, tofu hot dogs and buns made of twigs and moss. And I set my hot dog down. I swear to God, a bird made a nest in it. It was disgusting. And it wasn't free. It wasn't even free. She was taking donations. You know, nothing wrong with that. But she was taking donations for some environmental cause, and of course she wasn't happy with the amount of money that she raised. So she was a little critical of all of us and said we didn't care enough about the environment. We were willing to sacrifice for the planet, you know, and we were playing right into that stereotype of Americans or New Yorkers that we're shallow and self-absorbed and aren't willing to give of ourselves to care for the planet. And I took offense at that. I said, that is certainly not true for me. I'm very concerned about warming because I feel very self-conscious in summer clothes. And I've invested far too much in skincare to let the sun ruin this now. I'm not letting that happen. So I didn't think that was true. And you know, some people don't even believe that global warming is real. Like they actually don't think that the science is legitimate or something like that. And I actually wish those people were right. You know, it would be so much easier if they were right. That's why I was disappointed that Mike Huckabee dropped out of the presidential race. Because, you know, he brought creationism back into the national conversation, and he doesn't think that, you know, we need to buy into all this science. And, you know, if he was president, we wouldn't have to learn any of this stuff. Just believe stuff. It would be awesome. But, you know, so now I keep getting emails from this woman, and I have to read them, and you think about nowadays, we have to check our emails, our Blackberries, our voicemail, cell phone, office phone, home phone. There's so many things to check, to keep up with all the communication because of all this technology in the world now, which is an amazing thing. It's an amazing time to be alive, you know, really. But it's not all good. I mean, the internet is the great equalizer. That's not a bad thing. But if you have a keyboard and a credit card, you can make a blog or a website, and you know, just about anybody can. You get the message, you can get it out there, right? So you can be a gun-toting, uninformed, clueless nut job and be president of the United States. But it's reshaping the way we relate to each other. It's reshaping the way people meet, you know? When you think about it, we're the first generation, probably in history, of mankind that could meet, fall in love, have sex, and break up with a person and never actually meet them in person. And then when you're getting over somebody, you know, there's somebody you can chat with 24/7. You can always find them. And until you max out your credit cards, it seems like those people at 1-800-LOSER really care about your problems. And as far as breaking up with somebody, you know, in the old days, we used to be able to, when you're missing somebody and you just want to hear their voice, you could do the call and hang up. You know, can't do that anymore with caller ID. You say goodbye. And you know, and it used to be if you'd sit by the phone waiting for the call, and your friends would say, "No, we're going to get you out of the house. You're going to go. You know, forget about all this for a while. Now, you could be bungee jumping naked off the Great Wall of China. You have a pager and a cell phone strapped to your thigh, just so you don't miss that call. It's too much communication. It really is. I have a friend that is just, she has every technology gadget, every upgrade, every new thing that comes out. She's obsessed with it. She loves it. She's not great with people. She's really, she's got all this stuff, and she's had some rough breakups. She used to be very politically active. She used to be out there, and she just burned out, I guess, and she kind of shut down. And I was trying to help her a lot, trying to get through some of her sadness about this last boyfriend that broke up with her. And all of a sudden, I just stopped hearing from her. So I checked in, and I said, "What's up? What's going on?" She said, "Well, I met someone." Not yours just yet. We just added this today, so. Yeah, so she said she met someone. So I said, "Yeah, so bring it, She said his name is Dell. Dell, XPS Dimension 500. With a 4 gig, super wide, super fast SCSI hard drive. 400 megabytes of RAM. She didn't know what RAM was, but she got a lot of it because it sounded sexy. She said this was the best relationship she ever had in her life. She knew exactly how to turn him on. You'd scan him for viruses whenever needed. No threat of any diseases or anything. And like a lot of other boyfriends that she'd had, he would sometimes shut down, lose memory, or perform an illegal operation. But that wasn't going anywhere. I thought it was weird. I said, you're giving a whole new meaning to someone being on the computer. It was weird.